everyone, my name is Bola, like you all know, the immigrant nurse, and today we have a special guest. I'm in America. For those that don't know, my previous video that I uploaded, I told you guys about us getting a visa to visit America, and currently I've been spending some days in America. I'm currently in Maryland, and I got the opportunity to interview an esteemed nurse right here who will be giving us a lot of information about nursing in the US and what it is like and what to expect, especially from my colleagues and my fellow nurses in UK who have written and passed their NCLEX and they want more information about what it is like to practice nursing here in the United States. So she's going to be giving us a lot of ideas and closure to everything, maybe not everything, but most of the things that are basic that we need to know as nurses in the US. So I'll leave her to introduce herself.
Hello everybody, I go by Rafy. My name is Rafy. I have been a nurse since 2019. So this is going on 5 years.
Yeah.
It feels weird saying that, but I am a postpartum nurse. That's what my specialty is. And I also am now doing chart review nursing. That's my new niche.
Okay. So let me start by asking a little bit more about your background, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You said you've been in us since 2019. So before then, what were you doing?
Medical surgical. That's how I started. That's how I started nursing. I was in a practical. Well, my practicum in nursing school, I was sent to a med surg floor, and I just got hired there after I finished. So I stayed there for a little while. Then I went into mother baby nursing.
Oh, okay. So did you study your nursing here in the United States?
I did.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right. Okay. So how long do you have to do med surg for?
Med surg, a year.
A year. Then you moved.
Yes.
What was it like moving? Because from my experience, if you want to move from med surg to maybe a different specialty like postpartum, postpartum is more like a midwifery specialty. So if you want to move for that kind of thing, in UK you might need to do a short course to specialize in midwifery aspects of nursing. Did you have to do any of that?
No, I actually didn't, thankfully. Actually, I wanted to initially go into mother baby. It was my favorite subject in school. I loved it. Like, I just was intrigued by it. Reading it, it didn't even feel like studying. I did best in school. Med surg wasn't it. But I did really good, and I wanted to pursue that. When it was time to pick a floor, like the hospital asked me, they give you a couple of floors. That wasn't part of it. I asked. They said they don't let new nurses go in there. This was back in 2018. I started in 2019, but I was doing my practical there since 2018. So I said, okay, everybody says starting med surg, it's broad, it's great. So I did that, and I'm thankful for it, but I knew it wasn't for me. So it was a stepping stone. And I actually wanted to transfer to postpartum. And then after I gave birth to my first child, but COVID happened, shutdown happened, so it delayed me a little, but I eventually went into it, and it wasn't a problem navigating.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to take you back a little bit. When you were in med surg, what was it like? Let's start with the nurse-patient ratio. What part of med surg were you doing? Was it like urology, orthopedic? I don't know what it is like here, but in UK, you are either in the orthopedic department or the urology, or it could be gastro.
Gotcha.
So it depends. So what was it like practicing as a med surg nurse?
Okay, mine was general, so we had everything. Especially my floor. It was quite a tough floor. So we saw everything, trach patients, just different patients. They had other floors that were, what you said, orthopedic, GI. Here, they just call them orthopedic or GI floor, not med surg. When it's med surg, it's just a bunch of a lot. That's what it is here. So it was good.
So the nurse-patient ratio, what was it like?
Back then, it could be 4 to 1. Sometimes we could get 5. Staffing wasn't
At worst, when staffing is crazy and very short, what is it?
When I was there, it could be 5 to 1. Exactly, yes. At worst.
You won't understand why I'm laughing. But my UK nurse is real, because 5 to 1 is pure flex.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
It's pure flex. Now that you've moved to postpartum, what is your natural day like working as a postpartum nurse? So what do you do as a postpartum nurse, if that makes any sense?
Okay, as a postpartum nurse, you can get mothers that just delivered. They come to our floor, and we take over mother and baby at that point. Because labor and delivery is mostly just the mom.
So, sorry, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, so pardon me. As a postpartum nurse, what you're saying is once they're done with delivery, they come to you.
Yes.
So you don't share the same floor with labor and delivery?
No.
Really?
No, because then they just deal with the delivery. They don't really deal with the baby.
So once they're done with the delivery, that's it. They move the patients to you.
They keep them depending on what's going on with the patient. They'll keep them for a few hours. They don't just let them take
yeah.
So a few hours, but yes, then they come to us and we take over. Yes, that's what postpartum does. You take over mother and baby if they're coming up with them as mother and baby. But as much as the baby's out, they come to us with the next.
That's interesting. Okay, all right. So go on. What do you do? Like once the mother and the baby comes to you, like how many mother and babies do you get as a nurse?
Couplets, because it's 2 babies. It could be 4 to we call it 4. If it's couplets, 4, but know that 4 is mother and baby, so that's 8 because it's 2 patients. You're checking on the baby, you're checking on the mother as well. Especially in the first 24 hours, it can be hectic. But it can be 4 couplets to 1. Maybe it can be 5. That one doesn't happen too much, but hey, if staffing isn't right, it can happen. So that's like it could be 10 to 1 if it has to get to.
Okay.
But mostly it's usually 4, or maybe you discharge one, you may end up with 3 couplets, which is 6 babies. Or if you have one without baby, maybe baby is in NICU.
I see you. Yeah.
So it could be different.
Okay. So what do you do with the postpartum patients?
You help them breastfeeding, lactating. Some are fresh moms. Tell them how to take care of baby. We help them with running tests on baby that are sent to their pediatrician later. Educating, a lot of educating.
Education. Okay. So you would you consider it softer than med-surg?
A little, but it has its own. Yeah, so that was a lot of us think going to there, but they both have their own. Med-surg has its own. I have friends that stay in med-surg, they like it a lot. I just knew it wasn't for me, but not to say that it's absolutely terrible. It's a mindset thing, I feel.
Okay. So let's take it back to when you were in med-surg. So judging from my little knowledge of you having CNA, LPNs, then RNs, so as a registered nurse working in the med-surg department, what are the things that is expected of you? So let me give you an example now. Where I work at the moment, registered nurses do almost everything. So you can do the commode round. Commode is like patient needs to use the toilet, they can't get out on their own, they need to use toilet by bedside, you get it for them. You can do urine check. Aside from the basic things of IVs, medication monitoring, PCAs, and all of other major things, we practically do almost everything because sometimes the care assistants may not come forth to do their job, and you are the one who is liable. So you just want to get your job done and move on. So what do you do here as a registered nurse? What are the the restrictions of, oh, this is not mine? Like, do you have that defined boundary of this is your job, you do your job, I do my job, and what's the modality?
Everywhere, a lot falls on the nurse, because if it doesn't get done, they look at us a lot of the time. So as much as we would love to say, like everyone else, this isn't my job, it's really not something a nurse can do, because either the doctor is looking at you, like, did this get done? Like, just maybe a patient should have been changed, their bed and all this, and CNA maybe didn't get to it. It falls on the nurses. Either you're following up with that person, can you do this? But if you said, oh, I have a lot to do, I can't get that, it's you. You're gonna do it. You're the one that has to follow up. So a lot still falls on us. Administering meds, the nurses here are the ones that do that. Like the techs, what we call them, can't do that. Titrating medication, heparin, you're doing that. So I had to make sure that the anti-XA is checked if they're on heparin. Make sure it's therapeutic. It's your job to let the doctor know, if it's not, and follow the protocol. Insulin pumps, titrating it, we do that as well. Wound care, it would be the nurse, unless it's something that requires a wound care nurse. You got to make sure that the wound care nurse, the order is in for that as well. So a lot still.
Okay. So let's talk about litigation, which is like the most dreadful part of nursing for everybody in developed countries. So what are the things that are likely to get you, subjected to legal boundaries, like legal investigation, and something that can, put you on that spot where you never want to be as a nurse while you're practicing?
For sure. Yeah. Practicing out of your scope, like doing something that is out of the scope of a nurse.
So define that scope. So let me ask, using a typical example, let's say you have a crash call, what we call crash call, I think you guys call it code blue or something like that, yeah. You have a crash call and you feel that you need to do 1, 2, 3 things to help the patient come back to life. But it's not explicitly written out in policy that you're allowed to do that. But you're so carried away in you trying to help the patient get back to life, you just had to do something that needed to be done to get the patient back to life. What exactly is your scope as a nurse? that could get you like out of trouble. I don't know if it is clear. So let's say that a patient needs to have an IV medication and it's not yet been prescribed because the doctor had not arrived, and you give that IV medication. Can it get you into trouble?
Yes, without an order, it sure can. Yes, if it leads to something bigger, yeah. Especially medication, speaking of it, narcotics, things like that, high-risk meds. But without an order, you can't do it. Even if you just spoke to the doctor on the phone, we always make sure the order is in. The order always has to be in.
So you can't do a teleorder?
We don't really do that here. They said, other parts of the world they do that, but such high risk of error.
Doctor can just say, oh, okay, you can give this, I'm going to prescribe later.
Yeah, he may tell me, hey, I'm going to put this in. I wait till the order is in. Every nurse I know would tell you the same thing. You wait till the order is in. But just calling, some meds sound alike. It can just be such a cause for error. Because here, I don't know over there, but once they put the order in, you're able to pull it out in our med system. So in the med system, if it's not in, you can't pull it out. Say they told you...
What kind of med system do you use? Sorry to interrupt.
Different. It depends on hospital. I've been on different hospital. But, it's a dispensing system, if that's what you mean. But they're different med systems. It depends on where you are.
So this sounds very different from what I am used to. So once the doctor prescribes a medication, it goes to the pharmacy. The pharmacy dispenses it.
No.
That's it.
No, they prescribe it. We have med system on the floor. One of the ones that I know is used is Pyxis. That's the name of it. Yes. Okay. So the order is in. Usually it's stocked with all the meds, unless it's some type of specialty meds. Ibuprofen is there, even Oxy. A lot of things are there already. So it's not like you have to call pharmacy and to put it in, unless it's a specialty order. It's there. As soon as the order is in, you can pull it out. If the order is not in and maybe doctor said, I'm going to put it in, you go under the patient's name, there's nothing there. So you can't pull it. So that's why, med error, it can happen, because say you override it, you heard something else, you pull something else, you give it, because you didn't even scan it at that point. And here you have to write patients, write medication, write route. So no, that's big. Yeah.
Let's move on. Now working as you said you do chart review?
Yes.
So what does that mean? She works from home currently. At the moment she was working remotely. So what does it mean to do chart review?
For me, it's different. There are different types of chart review. Some people work for different insurance companies, but my chart review, I'm part of a very small department where I am, and we prevent readmission, which is the goal of our program. It's very, like I said, very subdivision. It's just like us 3 nurses there, but we are looking at patients' chart. A lot of my work is looking at these patient chart, reviewing it, and drawing conclusion like what makes this patient high risk of readmission, based on their diagnosis, based on what they came with, maybe their social economic factors, different things. And you just have to know just by looking at it that, oh, this patient, based on this, has been in the hospital 3-4 times, probably a readmit. So we're trying to figure out how to keep them from coming back. Maybe it's just making sure they have PCP, making sure they did get their medications they were discharged with. Yeah.
What is just going in my head is the kind of potential the nurses have in the United States, because never have I ever in my lifetime, since I've been working in the UK, heard of anything called chart review for nurses.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So is this still part of postpartum nursing?
No.
Oh, you're done with postpartum?
Yeah.
So this is the new thing you are doing now?
Yeah.
Oh. So did you have to do any special course to move into this?
No. Just
by being a nurse?
Yes.
So you applied?
Yeah.
Went for an interview?
Yes.
Passed the interview?
Mm-hmm. And then I got it.
And you got the job?
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, I applied for another one. Is what I actually applied for, and I didn't get it, and I was fine. I was just applying, by faith, walking. Yeah, just what else is out there? Can I actually get it? So a friend of mine was telling me about it. She said, apply. I said, I don't know these things. I don't know if they will really take me. She said, just apply. She was the one pushing me. I said, okay, let me just do it. I have a job at the moment. It's okay. If it happens, it happens. So I applied. I applied to quite a few. Heard back from this one. So I did the interview. I wasn't what they were looking for, but it was a wonderful interview. Like, it was the first interview that I ever prepared for in my nursing career. And like, I actually,
the sound of that, like
I actually prepared for it. I looked up the questions. I knew what to say. I knew how to give the answer. I researched the corporation. I knew what I knew what they were about. So it went well, to say the least. But she said, if I would have hired you for this position particularly, it would be like I was throwing you out. It would just, you need this type of experience to really succeed. And I said, okay, it's okay. Thank you so much for giving me time. And it was fine. And then like a few weeks later, they called me and said, the recruiter that called me for the other one called and said, hey, I saw you had such a good interview with, what's her name? She actually told me when this position opened, she said, oh, you should call this lady. She was looking for something remote that, maybe she'd be interested. I was just like, huh? Like, I've never heard such a thing. I was just like, well, she said, yes, she's really interested in interviewing you. And that's just how it happened.
Wow,
like
that's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. So, I want to assume that each job has come with salary increase.
Yes. Sure.
So let's take it back. She said shield. So let's take it back to when you were a med-surg. That was far back in 2018, right? So what was the remuneration like? As a new grad, you were a new grad.
New grad, yes.
As a new grad, how much were you earning, if I can ask that question?
Yes, back then it was like what? It was 29, actually 28 something. Yeah, I don't know if that was the normal range, and that was one of the higher paying places because I got a few that reached out to me, but I picked that one because it was higher. So it was ranging from what I got, like 26 to 29 is what I was back then in 2019.
Back then.
Yeah, but
and the overtime, how did that work?
They have differentials. So if you work weekend, you get a certain differential. I don't know the exact amount. If you work nights, you get a differential. I don't know the exact amount either, but it could be maybe if you work a weekday, it's like the regular base rate. And then if you work a weekday, but it's night, maybe it can be $3 or $4 different. Then if you work a weekday on the weekend, it's a differential, maybe another, maybe 3 or 4. Like I said, I don't know the exact. And then if you work weekend night, you get the weekend differential, and then you would do night differential because that could be like 7, 6, 7. I don't know the exact difference, but let's say 6 to 8 depending.
So you don't need to give us the exact amount, but you can give us like a range when you moved from med-surg into postpartum.
Okay, it wasn't much actually. That was just with the yearly. It actually so.
Oh, so did they increase the salary every year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It should, depending, because it really depends where you are. Some of them, they do like merit raises. Like you have to satisfy some type of merit thing. And some is automatic. So it depends. If it's a union hospital, usually those ones are automatic. So it depends on where you are. It's a lot of places you can be. But yes, it should increase.
So when you were in med-surg to postpartum.
Oh, okay. When I went to postpartum, it was postpartum here isn't considered like one of the specialties that get like a real pay differential. ED, ICU. Those are the ones that is substantial from what I've heard. Those are the ones that are considered PACU. Those okay. 3 I can say off my head. Those are the specialty. Even though postpartum is a specialty, it's not one of those high money specialties like the other differentials. So it was just a regular like $2 raise just from the years of experience.
Okay.
As a nurse, not really specialty.
Okay. Then now let's talk about you working from home. Do you also still get overtime?
No, I don't do that.
So how do you match up? Let me find a better way to ask this question. How does the overtime and the regular rate from when you were in the hospital setting, how does it match up with what you have now?
I wasn't an overtime person. I just knew of it, but I'm not someone that does over, like I have kids, so no, it's not for me. I just know of it, but I'm not one to pick up. So for me, I'm comfortable.
Okay. So let's go back to what you said that some hospitals have union. Can you explain that better?
Okay, yeah. Union is like how do I
like a nursing association?
Yes, basically a nursing association there to protect nurses. CAs have their union too, I believe. Not everywhere has.
CA is California, for those that don't know.
Yeah, CA. But I'm saying clinical assistants. But CA, that California is known for having really strong.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of people tell me that California has very strong union and they fight for their nurses. That if I really want to come to start with, I should go to California. And I'm like, the cost of living is also
exactly. So there's also that.
High.
So there's also that. But yeah, California, I heard, that's why they pay a lot over there. Their patient ratio is no joke.
Yeah, and they get breaks.
Like how? Here too we get breaks.
Do you?
You do?
Because I was in Texas last week and a lot of nurses I met in Texas were telling me that sometimes they don't get breaks. That they get 30 minutes at most. And 30 minutes is not enough for anything.
No, especially on a 12-hour. But
so actually it depends on the state. That's another thing I'm learning now.
Here, like, when we even clocking, they'll ask you, did you take your break? If you don't take it enough, no, it's a problem.
Like, how many hours break are you entitled
So, like, I know hospital is it could be if you work in 12 hours, you get an hour, but you can't take an hour at once. 30 minutes. You can you usually maybe have a buddy system of the nurse that's gonna take care of your patients while you're gone in case they need something while you're gone. Then you take like 15 here and there.
Okay.
That's how it usually is.
Okay.
But no, I have had, when I was on floor, I have had, cases where I didn't get to take a break when it's so busy. But no, it's not something that should be normal.
Yeah, it shouldn't be normal. So to belong to a union, what do you have to do, and what kind of hospitals belong to a union? Because I'm learning that there are different type of hospitals here. You've got private, you've got government owned. So what kind of hospitals do you have to belong to be able to have access to a union? Or can you just decide as a nurse that I want to belong to a union?
Not standalone, no. Yeah, sure. If you with a union hospital, it's fine.
So there are union hospitals?
Yeah, that is already there. So when you get in, there's a union. And yeah, it could be good. I've been with union hospitals, been not with union hospitals. It's not really a huge thing, because I've seen, in a union hospital where a nurse made a mistake. It's not like the union, because they say, oh, union will have, that's what they say about a union. If you made the mistake, there's only so much a union still can do. But they support in a way of trying to make patient ratios a standardized amount. But sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't when they bring it up. They help with pay. But at this, pay is competitive everywhere at this time. Ever since COVID, that's not a big one for, going to a union place just because of that, because most places are trying to match up with their competitors. It's in fact to try to get nurses. So it's okay. It's not like, I have to be with the unionists, I have to be with the union hospital, I have to be with if you can get it, sure. I heard it has some ups, but from someone that's been there with the union hospital and been without, it's, you'll find either way.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you'll find it.
So, sorry, I'm going to take you back to money, because all of this is for money at the end of the day. So now, working as a child review nurse, are you able to negotiate your salary?
You can, depending on your experience.
Okay.
It depends on your experience.
So now, do they pay you per hour or they pay you annually?
I'm annual.
Annually.
Yes.
Can you give us a range? You could say like 60K to 100K, something like that.
Okay. Well, it's this is the same as someone that's on the floor. So it's based on experience. I think the beginning can be because now it's like maybe starting could be 70. And it can go up. Like someone that's been there for 20 years, I can imagine it's like 130, 140. It can go, quite up there. Probably higher than that even,
And how long do you have to do this for before you decide to change your job?
You don't.
You're not bounded by
No, there's no. Now, usually the ones that have you are the new nurse residency programs. Those are the ones. But here, you can go to another job freely. It's not like you have to stay here 2 years because we hired you. No.
So you just need to do is if you find somewhere else that is of interest to you, apply, do the interview, and if you get the job, that's it.
Yeah, leave honorable and leave your 2 weeks notice. Don't burn
2 weeks notice?
You should, yes, 2 weeks notice.
Really?
Yeah, that would be honorable.
I don't know. I think I've covered everything that people might be interested in and some questions that people have sent to me to ask. Now let's talk about, I know you're married, you've got a family, and talking about bills and all that, let me just quickly do a detour to that. What's it like, bills-wise, managing bills with your salary here in US? Are you able to save and have extra for yourself?
We live within our means. Because, when a lot of people hear us, they think big money, big this. Why don't you buy this big house? Why don't you do this? We live within our means. We're comfortable where we are. Things that are important to us.
Obviously, she is. I can't show you guys, but she is.
I'm comfortable and I'm happy. Good thing, we just got lucky and got our home around when it was like, around COVID. COVID shut down is when we closed on our home. That was like the lowest rates, everything. So we got lucky. And we're just happy with where we are. It's enough space for our growing family. Sure, you may want more, but do you really need it? The things that are important to us is family time, traveling, things like that. Pay off this house, pay off this, and just live. So as much as you think of what's important.
I would have asked you a question about childcare, but since you're working remotely, I think that is manageable for you.
No, they can't be home. I wouldn't get work done, so that's the
No, I was going to ask that, are you able to balance the resumption time of your kids in school with going to work?
Oh, okay.
Because I know for those who work maybe shifts, okay, so about the shifts, some do night shifts only, some day shifts only. So for those who do day shifts, are they able to do school runs, drop off, and all that?
I know that one. I don't know because when I was out of that situation at that time. No, because when I first went into when I first switched to postpartum, I was doing night. My husband was doing day, so you just had to
Is he a
make
nurse?
it work. No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
He's a working class as well, but no, not a nurse.
Okay.
So you just had to kind of make it work. One of us was doing day, since I was only doing 3 days, like I said, I'm not an overtime person.
Yeah.
So we made it work, and then, this happened. So, and then it just works. I drop them before I start work. After work, I relax a little, I go get them.
So finally, the elephant in the room. A lot of people have been asking me gun issues. Because one thing I'm going to tell you is America's PR, outside of America, is bad.
Oh, no. Wow.
A lot of people are scared of coming because they feel once you step out of your house, somebody's going to shoot you. In fact, it was so bad that when I wanted to come, and I told one of my colleagues that I was coming to America for holiday, and he told me, oh, you don't like yourself, you want to take your children, that once you enter Walmart like this, one aisle in Walmart is filled with guns. Oh, man. It's never been here, so you can imagine how bad the PR is. Like, everybody feels like, even when you're walking on the street, you just see someone roaming around with guns. And I'm like, okay, guys, I've been here for 2 weeks, and I've not heard one gunshot like this. So it's not that bad. Wow. So I want to tell them for yourself what they should expect, and the gun issue in America. What it is like.
It's definitely not what is hyped up to be by media. Yes, I'm sure, it's bad compared to, some other places, but it's not like I just walk out and just hear pum, 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 it's nothing like that. Oh, goodness. I would hope it never gets that bad. But some areas, depending, they do have high rates of, violence, like gun violence. Like I know some parts of DC,
which I think is dependent on the area where you live as well. If you go to ghetto areas, you experience, and it's like that everywhere. Yeah. Because same thing in UK. I'm like, that's our UK. In London, that's supposed to be like the safest and the most civilized area. There are a lot of crime issues. Just recently, somebody pushed passengers into the underground where the train tramped on them, and so nowhere is safe in the sense of it. If you get what I mean. But if you find yourself in areas where there are safe people with sense, they won't just come out of their house and start shooting. But if you find yourself in areas where there are people who are high on drugs and all of that, you can't expect any less. So it's dependent on the areas where you choose to live as well.
Yes, it definitely depends on the area. Suburban areas, different areas do depend, on that.
So best bet, I can't give you all the information. Best bet is also do your research. Make up your mind and decide where you want to be.
Yeah. So there's some states that, they freely carry, like South. So if you go South, that one you may actually run into somebody with a gun because those people, they can actually carry. In Texas, I've heard you can be having something with someone, and those ones, they're freely able. Here, you can't do that.
Really?
No, not in Maryland. It's not like free to carry.
It's not free to carry in Maryland.
You can't just keep a gun.
Security guards in Texas, they've got guns.
Yes, they can. Security guards here too can be armed. Some, if they're armed guards, but just for someone to be able to have it in their home, because they can do that in Texas. You can have it in your home. Yeah. You see a threat, somebody you don't know come to your door. They can actually or bring it out and say that they're defending themselves. Here is not. It's not something like that. So southern states, not just Texas, but South, they are more friendly guns.
So this is not America, right?
America, yes, it's still America.
This is not.
Oh yes. So yes.
Interesting. That's good to know. Yeah. So when you're choosing, choose wisely.
Yeah, those southern states have different things. Definitely look if you really want to relocate, because a lot of people like to go there because they say their houses are cheaper, but so are their taxes. So you have to weigh it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Rafy.
You're welcome.
This is really nice to have you here and for you to answer all these questions. Thank you. Guys, subscribe. If you have questions, drop it. I'll give Rafy my YouTube channel so she can answer your questions if she has the time.
For sure.
All right. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. And don't forget to stay tuned for other videos. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye.